I don't know how many of y'all got asthma in here today, but if you ever had an asthma attack before, you short of breath.
A man provides.
If you don't protect what belongs to you, then sooner or later, it belongs to someone else.
And it's not oxymoronic for me to say third grade and dropout. That third grade dropout, the wisest person I ever met in my life.
Okay, so why doesn't this work? Well, the truth is it does, but it is temporary. It even gets you excited about doing your tasks or working out or whatever it is that you're after. But this boost is usually short-lived. Once the initial excitement wears off, you might find yourself back in the same mindset as before. You see, excitement itself is a very strong emotion that we can only feel for a limited amount of time before it wears off or it changes. At first, watching these kinds of videos inspire what seems like millions with their thoughts. It gets you pumped up. But what about the 10th time or the 50th time you watch them? At some point, it gets repetitive, even annoying.
You gotta work hard to make it. You gotta join your left testicle for it.
Yeah. Okay, we get it. But what does that even mean? I mean, every individual has their own issues and problems that they need to face. Therefore, a general advice might be good in a sense that it inspires you, but it doesn't quite hit the spot since it is not an advice made for you, for your problem. Personalization is something that these videos can't have. It's realistically just impossible, which makes it hard to translate a general advice into actionable steps that work for you. One size fits all doesn't really work here. Another thing that doesn't sit right with me is the hyperbolicity. If you don't make it, why are you here? If you're not making millions, you won't find happiness. It's super black and white. I know its idea is to motivate and inspire, and since the world doesn't spin without money, it is the easiest way to get to someone. While the message is extremely positive, sometimes the translation of it in my head makes me feel worthless. It feels like I haven't achieved anything at all, like I have a short timer to accomplish everything I want. But life doesn't really work like that. At least they're not as bad as the guru bros who would aggressively tell you that you're a piece of shit if you're not a millionaire in your 20s. You know the ones, messages that don't really solve a problem but provide a fantasy solution, causing even more pressure and sadness onto a person. I think modern life and how dynamic everything is nowadays kills off the idea of long-term accomplishment. I mean, even sitting on your couch watching social media can feel tiring. Tragedies, political agendas, sadness, division. Maybe you see a OF girl shaking her ass making millions of retards buying their bathwater, while you work 12 hours a day at a factory making some douche billions. It is demoralizing, but things take time. Sometimes you need stability to get back up, other times you can allow yourself to risk it for a greater future, but whatever it is, it takes time to build. Let's partake in a little exercise. Look at your past for me, alright? But I mean, really think of it. Recognize what you have achieved. Maybe you've managed to keep a position at the company for a long time. Maybe you've managed a relationship quite well. Maybe you've helped friends and family when they needed you. You've been their shoulder to cry on. Now look at your life in the present for me, alright? But really look. Maybe you're sick of your position at your company because you have been there for a long time. Maybe you hate yourself because you didn't always treat your partner with love and respect. Maybe you've missed opportunities and adventures because you felt chained to help your friends and family. You see how perspective really is the definition of happiness? At least for me. How you look at things determine what they actually are. If they're positive or negative, it's a matter of how you appreciate them. This is something that is lost with motivational videos. They don't teach us how to look at things. They don't effectively tell you how to achieve things. They pump you up with a well-told story and tell you that the pursuit of wealth and power and a gym membership is the most important thing in the world. That without it, you should feel empty. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely believe that they have done more good than bad. And I do think that the people who speak are very intelligent and deserve their respect and sometimes even honor, but not accountability. They're not responsible for how we soak their advice. Their speeches can serve as a spark, but they aren't the fuel. So what do? I don't know, I haven't found success in anything to be eligible to give anyone advice. But here are some things that I'm pushing myself to follow. And they are very generic, but in a sense that can be applied in most situations. There's a quote from a YouTuber that I randomly stumbled upon one time, and it has been stuck in my head. It was something in the lines of, motivation is finite. Why the fuck would I count on motivation to drive me to achieve my goals? And it kind of spoke to me. I understood then that achievements don't come from motivation, they come from discipline and self-control. Another thing that I soaked in one of those speeches is that life consists of habits and routines, knowingly and unknowingly. Having the correct healthy habits optimize the correct behavior that you need to achieve what you have set yourself to achieve. In order to build those habits, you need a routine to follow every day. Whether it's starting your day with a little bit of stretching instead of watching videos in your bed to wake up, or meditation instead of drinking coffee. Now, I'm not saying that coffee is bad or anything, but activities that break an unhealthy pattern and swap it for a better one. I know you have heard of this before, the make your bed every time you wake up story. It's the same thing, and I'll try to do that. Also, making yourself do things at the time that you're least inspired to do them is the perfect way to conjure self-discipline. This is a big one, the one that they all eventually focus on: consistency. And it's not a coincidence. Doing it once is not enough. I have found myself inspired and many times go 100% into whatever it is, let's say working out. So I work out hard this one day and then I go cycling, and after that I go for a walk because you feel like a piece of shit, right? And the next day I am the same. I am not fitter than I was the day before, I'm not mentally stronger, and I fall into the old ways of life. I think when we do that one day of high productivity, we're not letting ourselves get rewarded, and this feeling of accomplishment is lost. With consistency, you see improvements every day. Whether it is learning how to draw anatomy or doing one more push-up in your session, you feel the improvement. It might not be as much as giving it all in that one day, but in the long run, you'll find that improving 1% every day for 30 days is way more than improving 5% that one day and forgetting about it in the next. My conclusion to this video is that watching motivational videos is a great start to get yourself back up or to get inspired. Just don't rely on them, but rather use them as a tool to remind yourself from time to time that it is worth it and that invisible results are still results. They become visible with time. And lower your expectations. In reality, nothing happens instantly. For example, I don't hope this video will blow up. I hope it reaches 60 views, and if it happens, I would feel like I have achieved something, which is realistic. If I hoped for 1 million views, I would have been disappointed and probably discouraged. I would really appreciate any engagement from you, whether you agree or disagree. Leave a comment. I read all of them and reply to all of them. Let's create a conversation. I've been Rumination. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.